former President of the Republic of Ghana, Her Excellency Rebecca Akufo-Addo, First Lady of the Republic of Ghana, Her Excellency Samira Bawumia, my beautiful Samira, Second Lady of the Republic of Ghana, Honorable Akosua Osei-Prima Opari, Chief of Staff, Stephen Ayesu, ET, National Chairman, our General Secretary, Justin Nkodia-Frimpong, Chairman of the Council of Elders, Honorable Ahmed Osuegiman, and members of the Council of Elders, members of the National Executives, members of the Council of State, Ministers of State here present, members of Parliament, parliamentary candidates, former presidential patriotic party, lead the party into the 2024 election. I am eternally grateful to His Excellency the President, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, for giving me the opportunity to serve as Vice President. 11 days ago, the party also completed its election of parliamentary candidates for the 2024 elections. Let me use this opportunity to also appreciate the leadership and grassroots of our beloved party, the NPP, for the seamless organization of the parliamentary primaries following on the equally successful presidential contest. I believe the time has now come for me to speak to you, the good people of Ghana, about my candidate, what we have experienced as a nation, my vision and priorities, and why I believe I am the best candidate for the presidency of this country. I recognize that submitting myself to your service, the electorate, to vote for me as president is no different from interviewing for a job. One needs to tell a prospective employer what he has accomplished in his previous job and how he can successfully deliver in the new position he is seeking, which is what I seek to do in this speech. Even though tonight is about sharing my vision and policy priorities with you, I crave your indulgence to broadly set up the context. I will first talk about the record of our government and my contribution as Vice President before I lay out my vision. So I ask for your patience. Ladies and gentlemen, when we assumed office in 2017, we were confronted with an economy with declining economic growth, along with several problems and challenges. A graphic description of the state of the economy at the time was provided by the former president and my main opponent for the 2024 presidential election, who announced to the nation that the meat was finished and the economy was left with bones. Notwithstanding the difficult economy we inherited, we had to get on with it and start to fix the problems. We started with a clear, decisive, and deliberate program to, among other things, stabilize the economy, fix doomsday, fix the national health insurance scheme, fix the roads, clear the arrears, make education free and accessible, significantly enhance social protection for the vulnerable in society, industrialize our economy, tackle youth unemployment, and empower farmers. Between 2017 and 2019, all the key economic indicators, such as economic growth, agricultural growth, industry growth, interest rates, fiscal deficit, exchange rate depreciation, and the trade balance were all moving in the right direction. However, between 2020 and 2022, we experienced severe challenges triggered by the pandemic, which brought the world and our country to a thundering halt. We may be tired of hearing it, but there is no avoiding the fact that the COVID-19 pandemic and the Russia-Ukraine war resulted in the greatest economic depression in the world since the 1930s, with most countries recording negative GDP growth. The severity, especially of the pandemic, was captured in the words of the IMF managing director, then asked, and I quote, "This crisis, like no other. This is a crisis like no other. Pandemics don't respect borders. Neither do the economic shocks they cause. The outlook is dire. We expect global economic activity to decline to a scale we have not seen since the Great Depression." End quote. Supply chain disruptions and rising price of oil resulted in major increases in the prices of fuel, freight, and food across the globe. I believe it is worth pointing out that in addition to the external factors, there were two major items of expenditure that are critical to understanding the difficult economic situation we have faced. And these are the banking sector cleanup and the energy sector assets capacity payments that we inherit. Expenditure on these three items, including the COVID-19 expenditure, cumulatively amounted to 50.1 billion Ghana cedis, and this was financed from borrowing. Ladies and gentlemen, the fiscal deficit, which was reduced from 8.4% to 4.1% in 2019, increased to 10.8% in 2020 as a result of revenue declines in the midst of increased expenditures during COVID. In addition, our debt became unsustainable. Along with many emerging economies, Ghana lost access to international capital market finance. This resulted in a balance of payments crisis, as Ghana had to continue to honor its debt obligations, energy payments, and the import bill. We faced a serious global and domestic economic crisis. There were many who predicted that we were going to end up like the situation in Sri Lanka, with fuel shortages, food shortages, inability to pay workers, doom so, anarchy, and chaos. Indeed, Ghanaians were hit hard by rising food prices, increased exchange rate depreciation, and rising fuel prices and rising transportation fares. Bond holders also saw a sharp decline in their net worth following the painful debt restructuring program. we face very challenging times. But with calm leadership and the support and understanding of the good people of Ghana, we have weathered the storm. The government had to seek IMF support to stabilize our economy and restore fiscal and debt sustainability over 3 years. I must at this stage salute and give particular recognition to the Bank of Ghana, which has come under unfair criticism for taking the necessary measures which help pull the economy back from the brink. The Bank of Ghana provided needed financing to the government at that critical moment. What the Bank of Ghana did was very responsible in putting the interests of the good citizens of Ghana first. The data which is available shows that the financing provided to the government by the Bank of Ghana was temporary. The Bank of Ghana has provided zero financing to government in 5 out of the last 7 years. Zero financing in 2017, 2018, 2019, 2021, and 2023. The Bank of Ghana finances of government in the COVID-19 year of 2020 and the liquidity crisis year of 2022 was because of the domestic and global crisis with underperforming revenue and no access to international capital markets. Ladies and gentlemen, the good news is that the data shows that the economy is recovering from the crisis we face. Inflation has declined from 54% in January last year to 23% in December 2022. Economic growth is rebounding, spending is under control, and the fiscal deficit as a percentage of GDP has declined from 10.8% in 2020 to 4.2% in 2023. The debt to GDP ratio, after increasing from 61.2% in 2019 to 76.6% in 2021, has declined to 66.4% in 2023. And the exchange rate depreciation has also slowed down sharply since February 2023. Whereas the exchange rate depreciated by 30% in 2022, between February and December 2023, the exchange rate depreciated by only 9%. Ladies and gentlemen, what is remarkable is that notwithstanding the domestic and global crisis that we have experienced between 2020 and 2022, the economic performance as measured by the key economic indicators such as GDP growth, agricultural growth, industry growth, trade balance, exchange rate depreciation, lending rates, gross international reserves, and jobs. The performance of all these key indicators is better under our government than that of the 2013 to 2016 period, when there was no global crisis. Let me give you 2 examples for the sake of time. You look at agricultural growth and the stronger GDP growth performance in 2017 to 2022 period is underpinned by a strong agricultural GDP growth, which increased from an average of 2.9% between 2013 and 2016 to an average of 6% between 2017 and 2022. We have done double what we inherited, notwithstanding the crisis. We have made a lot of progress in agriculture, even though there is more to be done. Rice imports, for example, have declined by 45%, from 805,000 metric tons to 440,000 metric tons between 2021 and 2023. The goal is to be a net exporter of rice by 2028. It is clear that some of our policy interventions, such as planting for food and jobs, have borne fruit. I now tackle exchange rate depreciation. On the performance of the cedi exchange rate, it is also interesting to note that between 2013 and 2016, just before we came into office, the cedi depreciated by an average of 17.7% annually. But since 2016, between 2017 and 2020, there was a significant decline in cedi depreciation to an average of 7.5%. The average cedi depreciation further declined to 6.8% between 2017 and 2021. However, the 10% depreciation of the cedi in 2022 resulted in the average depreciation of the cedi between 2017 and 2022 to be 10.75%. So again, notwithstanding the domestic and global economic crisis, the depreciation of the cedi under our government is lower than that we inherited from the 2013 to 2016 period. Let me talk about jobs. What is probably the most remarkable development in terms of the economy is that our government has created 2.1 million jobs between 2017 and 2022, notwithstanding the global economic crisis. The public sector recruited 1.2 million people, while the private sector created 975,000 jobs, according to SNIC's data. We recruited 100,000 more health workers, 100,000 more teachers, more than double the fire service personnel, and so on. Our government clearly has created more jobs in the last 7 years than any other government in the fourth republic. This is truly remarkable under the circumstances, even though we still have to create more jobs. Ladies and gentlemen, clearly, notwithstanding the economic crisis, this government has been able to steer the ship of the nation away from catastrophe. In the face of the crisis, overall performance of the economy in areas such as GDP growth, agricultural growth, industrial growth, trade balance, gross international reserves, and job creation has demonstrated resilience. Ladies and gentlemen, available data also shows that notwithstanding the challenging economy we inherit and the global economic crisis that ensued, government has shown a large number of achievements across the country. Due to the constraints of time, I will only be able to enumerate a few of these achievements. However, government will soon unveil our performance tracker in the next few weeks, which will detail all of our achievements in every sector and every district in the Republic of Ghana. But I will name just a few of their achievements. I'm not aware of any government that has done as much in the road sector since 1992. We have initiated and overseen the construction and rehabilitation of more railways than any other government since 1992. Achimota in Sawan, Accra, Tema, Kujokro, Takwa, Kujokro, Manso, and Tema, Mpaka. We have extended the rural telephony network to more areas than any other government since 1992. We have increased the network from 78 sites to 1,008 sites. We have constructed more fish landing sites than any other. Exim, Dixo, Mori, Mammoth, Wilma, Senyabreko, Gomwa, Feke, Teshi, Keta, Osu, Etumbi, and Pasimani. Ladies and gentlemen, our government has constructed more sports facilities than any other government since 1992. We have completed 6 new multi-purpose sports stadiums, sports facilities at Bawumia for the African Games, as well as increased the public astroturfs. When we came into office, there were only 3 astroturfs in Ghana. Today, we have over 150 and still going. We have constructed more infrastructure and implemented more development policies in the Zongo community than any other government since 1992. The Zongo Development Fund has completed over 200 infrastructure projects in Zongo communities. We have strengthened the National Health Insurance Scheme, which President Buhari bequeathed, which was on its knees when we assumed office. Between 2013 and 2016, the number of NHIS registrations increased by 500,000, from 10.1 million to 10.6 million. Between 2017 and 2022, on the other hand, the number of NHIS registrations increased by 6.5 million people to 17.1 million. We have also extended NHIS coverage to childhood cancers and hydroxyurea medicine for sickle cell patients. Ladies and gentlemen, we provided free electricity to lifeline consumers and a 50% discount to other consumers for a whole year during COVID-19. It is important, and it is very important that you hear that between 2009 and 2016, the average annual increase in the electricity tariffs was 50% a year between 2009 and 2016. Average annual increase was 50% a year. Between 2017 and 2023, on the other hand, the average annual increase has been 11.1%. This is the lowest average annual increase in end-user electricity tariffs for any government since 1992. We have also introduced the National Rental Assistance Scheme to assist people with problems of rent advance. And so far, 1,492 people have benefited from the National Rental Assistance Scheme. Of course, we have implemented free CBEX, and we have also implemented free senior high school education. Free SHS has seen an increase in enrollment from 800,000 in 2016 to 1.4 million by 2022. The year 2023 has recorded the highest ever level of enrollment in senior high school. Around 500,000 students are enrolling in 2023. In addition, the performance of the students at the WASI examination is also the best since 2015. And what is even more remarkable is that today we have virtually achieved gender parity in the senior high school between boys and girls in Ghana. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen,